The Tour of Love, hour number 10 at 9 o'clock Pacific. And we are going to have another wonderful hour that's going to actually mean something. So sit back, get your, as I've been saying, popcorn. I think you're probably done with popcorn. Get a nice glass of water and show back up, because we are taking off for the 10th hour of the Tour of Love.
This is a Tour of Love, an international event, 36 hours streaming live on the E360 TV platform, beaming the vibe of love around the world to audiences of all ages, all nations, with the intention of changing the way cancer is done. This is the CB4L Buddies Network, and we are healing through connections. So get on the bus, get ready, and let's welcome the Tour of Love.
What fun is that? And oh, I'm loving it. Did you just do that for me? Because you know how much I love that.
I did. You always talk about my hairdressers. So this has my, look at this. Look, Tamara, what's this?
Oh, I'm a peace sign. I'm totally loving it and grooving it. And oh my goodness, you just once again won my heart. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. You know, you knocked it out of the park. And for those that do not know what we're talking about, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play our opening number. And then we're going to talk about that because, oh my golly, can we say, well, I've got a lot of thoughts. And they're all good. So let's go with this.
Oh, good.
Yes. Wow. We got some major feedback. I don't know what. There we go. You know, can I just say thank you enough? Thank you, and thank you some more. You, I don't become speechless very often, and yet I currently am, because the thought here. And Carol Berzin, so glad that you're here. And, you know, so much fun to have a lot of the people that were involved with actually singing and performing and being a part of this to do exactly what Carol is reminding everybody right now. It is all about donating and enrolling buddies. We have two goals: to donate and to enroll buddies, and to share why it is that someone would want to be a buddy with us, because we do have incredible people. We have an unbelievably supportive community, a loving community. Everybody's loving you. You got all your fans here. They're all loving it.
I'm trying not to cry. It's just, it was amazing. The experience over the last week, right? It wasn't even that long. It was amazing.
Yeah, it really it was
beautiful, beautiful people that surround you, and even that surround me, because my people came together as well. I'm like, look, I'm doing this. I need you here tonight. I'm doing this. I need you here tomorrow. Okay, I need to be in the studio in 2 hours, and yeah, it was amazing. And again, Brian, OMG, at the end, just to have him end it all.
Oh,
wow.
I know. And it's a full circle, because Brian, when you think about all the different people that come into your life and possibly who introduced them to you. And in Brian's case, I met Brian because of Mikey Adam Cohen, one of my very, very best friends, and very involved in so many different things. And then, you ask about, Martine, love you too. You'll have to come in and play. We were talking about Martine coming in, and we'll have to have you come in. In fact, if you're available, let's have you in this hour or next. Love to have some friends come in, because what we're doing right now is it's all about community. And our community is one right now that, I keep saying that right now, but right now is right now. And right now is so different than many others, that we're going into a holiday season.
Yeah.
And, you go into Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and today is Cyber Monday. Okay, yeah, Cyber Monday in a pandemic, that's making sense. And then you have Giving Tuesday. However, you're going into the holidays. There are a lot of people right now that are struggling because of this whole concept of going into the holidays this year, 2020, when you're told you can't be around your family. You're told that you can only have so many people around you. And a lot of people are really depressed and struggling because of that. And I want to say, I remember that feeling. It was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, on December the 9th, was my very first chemotherapy treatment. 6 years ago on December the 9th.
That's my dad's birthday. Yeah, he's deceased. Him and my mom are both deceased, but yeah, that's my dad's birthday.
Interesting.
Wow.
And it's a day I'll never forget, because being the Girl Scout that I am, I decided, okay, one of the very first things I did when I got that call, ring, ring. Oh, by the way, yeah, 3 words. Okay, got it. All right, what are we going to do now? So what did I do? Ring, ring. Waste company, send over a dumpster, please. And I thought, okay, nothing like cleaning house, literally. I thought, okay, we are going to go into this the very best way possible. And cleaned house, did all the stuff, got everything prepared, had the tree ready, had all this stuff, and the rest is history. You know, had a huge reaction, and then pneumonia in the house. So I ended up in isolation similar to what we have right now. So you see, it was December 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I did not have all the little fun gadgety things that I've got now with cameras and such. Anybody that knows me knows that it takes Tamara a little while to learn any of this stuff. I learn it, but it takes. That's why you have an amazing team that loves me and takes care of things. And I couldn't see my family. I couldn't see my grandchildren. I couldn't see anyone because they were keeping me behind closed doors because we had pneumonia in the house. And I lost my voice because I had chemo sores on my vocal cords.
Wow.
So going into this period of time right now, many people that have been affected by cancer, and you work with communities and community services, and we're going to talk about that. There are so many that are saying, yeah, you know, you guys are getting the taste of what we've been dealing with for years.
The whole time. Right, the whole time. Right.
And now there's an awareness. And that's why I am so thrilled that you're joining us and you joined the Tour of Love. And we were able to put that beautiful song out there because humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love is how we roll around here. And look at the colors and the Tour of Love, because it's all a matter of how we look at it, isn't it?
Right.
My dear.
Yeah, and Tamara, I just want to say, you know, it's about 2 words, and you mentioned that you got those 3 words over the phone, and everybody should probably know by now what those 3 words are. But in anything in our life, anything, and especially in something like this, it's about how we show up.
Yes.
How do we show up? How do we show up to when there's something that is not exactly what we thought our life was going to be like?
Right.
How do we show up when we get that news? How do we show up? And so, you know, some of the statistics say that there's like 1.8 million people that will be diagnosed with some kind of cancer, you know, during this 2020 timeframe, 1.8 million. And, you know, a lot of those, the majority are women. I think it's at like 276,480 women. And I was one of those women who had a scare related to cancer, but God said, not this time, because I went into the hospital to get tested for a pain I had on my right side in my abdomen. And so they did a scan and they said, there's something going on your left side. And I'm like, okay, here we go again with the hospitals and doctors, you know, not knowing their left from their right on the scans. And they're like, there's this big lump on the left. And I'm like, okay, I'm just still thinking, you know, these people don't know where they put the X or whatever, right? And come to find out, I had an enormous tumor on my left kidney. And they said, you need to be admitted tomorrow to have surgery on this, to get this removed. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. Because I went in for, it was an obstruction. I had a bowel obstruction. And I thought that, and I couldn't even lift my legs because when whatever it was going on with that pain, it really, really affected me, which is why I went to the hospital. But they found something on the left side. And so God already knew to do whatever he needed to do to get me into that hospital, get me all bound up with whatever I was bound up with that particular day. This was years ago. But if that had not happened, that tumor would have continued to grow and grow and grow. Now, I did lose like basically most of my kidney, but because of how large it was and because of where it was placed, they said it was 98.5% chance cancerous. Wow. Tamara, 98.5%. Mm-hmm. And so they had people coming in talking to me about different programs and about wigs and Arbonne for life and all these different things and counseling and stuff, all while I was in the hospital before my surgery. And then even after my surgery, while I was waiting to get the results back, and then got the results back, they had to remove, like I said, most of my kidney, but they ended up saying that it was not cancerous. But during that time, I didn't know whether I had cancer or not. Right. And so I had to really, really rely on him at that point in time to be able to prepare me because I was trying to prepare myself like, okay, 98.5, like that's a really big number. Oh my God. And so, and you've seen my hair, like, I like my hair, and a lot of people like their hair. And I was like, okay, I have to be ready to not have my hair. And I have to be ready to not have this and to not have that. And I hadn't told anyone. My husband was the only one that knew I was in the hospital. And so it was just really just me and God. And, but as we know, a lot of people don't get that result. Mm-hmm. They don't get that result. And so what is it that we can do? And me being that I was that close to a diagnosis, I have to be here with you, Tamara. I have to be here with you. So when you asked me, I couldn't say anything but yes, because there's people that need buddies. There's people that need people there physically. There's people that need people to pray with them. There's people that need all different kind of things. Hey, Crystal. Hey, May. They need people. They need people. We need each other. And I was going through my mind when I was in the hospital. I was like, okay, nobody knew but my husband. And I'm like, really just having to bring myself to thinking about how my life was going to be. Mm-hmm. 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 And you don't know till you go through it, and everybody has different reactions and stuff. But I was really, really, really trying to prepare myself and having God prepare me if this was going to be what happened. So I really, and I don't know when we first met, if I shared that story with you, but ever since, we first met several years ago, I was like, I have to be connected, just because you're a beautiful person, first of all, but because of what your mission in life is. And I remember when you got on camera and talked about how you felt about my mission and what we do with the homeless and stuff. And it's just been a beautiful, beautiful relationship ever since. And I just want to just thank you for that. And I was going to need a buddy, I was going to need somebody. So I just appreciate to be anything and everything that I can do to help. I'm here. I'm here.
And I appreciate that so much. Let me just say this too, with what the story that you just shared. Many people that have been through the testing piece, like you just talked about, they can say, yeah, the scariest time is that time between the test and the result. The test and the result can sometimes take a while to get an answer. And each day seems like it's 100 days. Your mind plays tricks with you. And the thing that I will say about our organization that I am so proud of, we're one of the only ones that recognize that period of time. Yeah. You call, the story is that Yeah, I am a bit of a Girl Scout, and I did. Okay, I need some help. Okay, so have you been diagnosed? Well, I have a duck. A duck? Yeah, a duck. I was told I have a duck. If it acts like a duck and it squawks like a duck, most likely it's a duck. And they're like, is this a practical joke? I'm like, no, I knew the tech. And she couldn't tell me, but she knew, wink, wink, that if she said, if it acts like a duck and squawks like a duck, most likely you have a duck. Wink, wink. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll do my homework about a duck. Well, of course, as I'm talking to these people and I'm like, okay, yeah, jig's up. I just need to know because have you been diagnosed? No, I'm going through testing. Call us back when you have results. I don't want to do that. I want to know what my answers are before I get the results. We don't talk to you before you get the results.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, I'm supposed to know what I want to do when I get the results.
Right.
And so we decided long ago when we first were looking at this that number one, humor, hope, heart were the first three words that we washed everything through. Hugs and a whole lot of love came a little later, but humor, hope, heart have been from the very beginning. And our mission was simple in that we would always be there for those people going through testing. You can have a duck and you're okay to call.
Yeah. That was such a long period of time. And like, I was, my husband was in and out, I think, of the hospital at that time. But that time was so long. And I had people in and out because at 98.5, they basically had decided I was already going to have it. So they had already started sending people in, with some of the various resources to start having conversations with me, because that's a huge number. Mm-hmm. And so even with all those people in and out, because, when you're in the hospital, you can't rest in the hospital because they're always taking your temperature, they're taking your blood, they're taking your all this stuff, But it was such a long time. It, like you said, it was like a long time.
Absolutely. And I just want to recognize right now, Helene, our first ambassador of the chat, and one of my buddies. She's saying that right now she is waiting to know what one of her tests is. And it's one of the things we do is we support each other through this. And I'm going to give the high sign right now to Barbara Beckley, because Barbara Beckley is going to share something with us, and then we'll be back.
Okay.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if anybody else can, but I think we're getting that taken care of, guys. So just wait a minute. And I want to recognize people that are here. Awesomeness. Natasha Moore. Beautiful soul and buddy of ours. Love you. Hello, Devorah. Welcome, you guys. And the waiting is horrible. Absolutely. So true. And I'm going to bring you up here too, because I don't want to be playing alone until we get this taken care of. Okay, wow. Yeah. Okay, we couldn't hear it either, but looks cute. Yeah. Yeah, just wait, guys. Just wait.
2020 glasses.
I love her. This is Barbara Beckley. And, and when you did the, the featuring people, I'm so glad you got Barbara with her.
So cute. Oh my gosh. She was like going like this. She was so cute. I had to spotlight her. I had to. Way to go, Barbara.
She's smiling right now. I love our team, and I want to thank people, and all of the teammates. We have so many behind the scenes guys to put something like this on. It takes a lot of people. And we have had so many people working endlessly for a while, for a while now, and all of the film editing that's been done and continuing to be done, even right now, because we have spots that continue to come in, and they're being taken care of, and I'm loving the look of it all. Because it's just fun, don't you think?
It's really fun. The colors are fun. And when you sent me the co-host little stamp panel thing with your picture and my picture, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, wow. It's like, this is really cool. And all the colors that I like, I love color. And so I was like, wow. And I didn't remember this till the other day. And then today I'm like, oh, it has the peace signs. And then I'm like, oh, it's a head wrap. And I know you always talk about, whenever you talk about me, you always talk about the whole head wrap experience you had that very first time that you saw me. I'm like, I have to come out with the little head wrap today. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I was like, okay, I'm not going to assume, but maybe she did. That's why one of the very, did you do that for you? It was specifically for you. I love it. And so, we talked about Brian and his, saxophone, or it's a soprano saxophone. Is that what it is? Or it's a soprano something. And also Victor. I mean, what about that? Having Victor Orlando a part of this project.
Amazing.
Very fun, right?
Everybody. I enjoyed everybody. And Victor, he is just, Victor, if you're watching it right now, you're just the man. You're the man. You're just so silly and just so down to earth. And I loved his, did you see his muscles? Because he was just doing all kinds of
things. Oh yeah. And I mean, like playing the stuff that he's been playing for a long time, and his project that he's working on right now, the Passage, and the love that he's sharing, and I love it when Greg Manning came on too earlier, and he was talking about the song that he was given rights to be able to work with from Stevie Wonder, and how right now during this time of COVID that some of these musicians, let's say it, frontline world touring musicians are taking this period and they are giving back, and they're calling upon each other, like Gary Miller last hour. Yeah, and Jamie Guiley in his own right. I don't remember the band, but I'm slipping off my chair here, guys. So let me just readjust myself.
We cannot lose you, so you got to get it right.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, sitting here for a few hours, wink, wink. Then that the two of them were the ones that when I first recognized Rock Against Trafficking, they were working on it together, and they're very, very close friends. Well, Jamie, he's a drummer, and been working in the industry for a while too. And so it was like, you guys are just so real and down to earth and great, and making a difference with for causes. And it just continues. The more and more people that I'm getting to know, my humor is walking around in my root beer. As soon as I can find my root beer, I'll have my humor. Okay, well, Barbara, I'm gonna take a moment here. Since let me see, did it download? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment, and then you can have the moment, Barbara. So here we go. I just want to do something. I think it's gonna be fun.
That feedback, Tamara?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm messing with you. I'm like, is that a laugh or is that feedback?
No, that's what laugh.
It's so cute.
Oh, my kids, when they were young, I really tried to behave myself with my laugh, because my kids used to say, my mom laughs like a donkey.
Yeah, right? On Welcome Back, Carter, Horseshack.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. If I did it with a nose thing, wasn't that?
So I can't do anything about your laugh. Mine is just as amusing.
Well, so I saw my pink and blonde wig out for jogging. Well, okay, so we had to do that because our dear Helene, our first ambassador of the chat, is always looking for a purple pen. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to bring Miss Barbara Beckley up to the screen. I'm giving you notice, so be aware. Hello, my dear. You are what? Okay, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go. And you were laughing because for the longest time you tried to figure out the whole purple pen, huh?
I didn't know. I was like, why does she keep putting their purple pen? I'm like, would somebody please explain to me what that means? And she finally said, Barbara.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know? I love Helene. I love her. That was so awesome, though. That little video. I'm like, oh my God. Well, I think that's blue, though.
Well, it translates like blue, but
okay.
I've been collecting.
You've been collecting pens.
I've been looking for it. I really have. Is this your purple pen? I'm like, or is this one your purple pen? Or, it's like, okay, I really got your back, my dear. I mean, she's my buddy. I got to look for a purple pen. So, yeah.
For a long time. Long time.
Yeah. And so, I had some fun with that one. That was one of my little projects. Like, okay.
Yeah, that was cute. Good job, Tamara, on that. Good job on that video.
Well, thank you. And it's a combination factor because all of our graphics are all created by Brooke Curran, and she is the one that came up with the "Where's My Purple Pen" graphic also, and so I just was like, oh, that's just too much fun. We're gonna have to start looking for that purple pen for her, So.
Well, the next thing is going to be the purple bus. It's going to be the purple bus and purple everything.
I did
and
have
the root beer. We got to keep up the videos.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to bring you up because it was like, okay, yeah, you definitely for the longest time were like, okay, would someone please explain this?
I felt so out of the loop. I was like.
I know, she's like, I really am not. What am I supposed to do with this? Really?
I said, I don't want to offend anybody.
She was ready to start getting her a huge box of them. Like, okay, so you don't keep losing. Yeah, have anybody seen my purple pen or purple bus?
See, there's the bus. I knew she was going to start. There's the bus.
And we have purple shoes oftentimes we're looking for too. Oh, that was a good one. Well, for you, my dear, for you. That, I love it. And so were you able to
I got the other one for you. I have the saxophone guy, so I can bring that on.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you do that. I love your earrings too. What are they? Okay, I'm going to take us down and we'll watch this.
Okay.
I'm bringing you up too, Barbara, because I saw you grooving too. I mean,
you caught me.
Oh, I know. Can we just say, Brian? I mean, are we not all huge fans of this young, amazing talent?
Definitely. And everyone who has heard the song, it's like, who is that? Who is that on the side? Where did you find him? And I'm like, I didn't find him anywhere. He was like put in my lap. Like it was just awesome. He's amazing.
Yeah. Now you understand when I was talking to you, Crystal.
Right.
I was like, okay, now you gotta trust me on this one.
You were so on point, like with everything that you said. It was just so on point, and yeah, it's just he's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Helene, we'll take you up on it. Okay. Get your dancing shoes ready, my dear, because next year, or for one of the coffee time, because we're going to continue the tour of love on Sunday, this coming Sunday. There you go. I love it. Oh, look at your parrot. I love it. And we are going to be having coffee chat on Sunday, Tour of Love, every week on E360 TV as a continuation to keep the love going and the love flowing for the buddies and this movement that we are creating, because we really can together change the way that the frequency of the earth. And I loved it with Candace when she was talking about it, White Light, with the Poe and Shelley segment, and she was talking about all of the actual science of what we're talking about. And that's the thing that I love about nowadays, because we can look at life in one of two ways, right? We can either see it for half full or half empty. I love looking at the half full or the all full or the overflowing, because there's so much abundance out there of amazing, beautiful, wonderful things. And it's all a matter of how we look at it.
Right. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier too, to just kind of reiterate that about the two words. It's like, how do you show up? And so, when I had that experience, almost experience with a diagnosis, I was trying, and you never can be prepared, right? But I was trying to have where, okay, for myself and for my family and for those that depend on me, I wanted to show up properly. But there really is no proper, because everybody has a different way that they deal with things. But I think for me, it's my faith in God that helps me through all the different, and it doesn't mean that I don't cry. It doesn't mean that I don't have worries and cares. We all have those kinds of things. But what it does mean is that we use that to give us strength. And so I think that's a key part of it, a really, really a key part of it.
I want to say welcome, Valerie David. So excited about you being a part of this program also, and being here to support the Tour of Love. I'm taking my, excuse me, guys.
Okay. Sunday in my backyard.
This one has a sense of humor. She really does. And yes, not right or wrong way to, no right or wrong way to it.
There's no right or wrong way. Yeah. Faith is it. And so it seems like a short period of time now, but when you said it seems like 100 days, it surely did. And even like, I think I mentioned this to you too, Tamara. Like, I think I got my results back now, like a week or so ago for my mammogram. Because I hadn't had a mammogram since forever. And somebody said something about insurance on one of my posts. I'm like, it had nothing to do with insurance. I have insurance, but I just had not gone. Like, I went 1 million years ago and I hadn't been back since. And so when I finally, and I would get the paperwork to go and to be able to make the appointment. And then I just wouldn't make the appointment. And then I would lose the paper. And then I would call the doctor back and I would get the paper again. And then I would just not go. And then I lose the paper again. And I'm like, okay, well, email it to me. And then just not open the email, like year after year after year, like years went by. And it's like, why? I don't know what was going on with me mentally related to that, but I just really just did not want to go. But I finally went a couple weeks ago. And again, that time waiting. And guess what happened, Tamara? Mm. So I called to get the results and they said, well, you know, it'll be mailed to you and then you can schedule whatever. So I'm waiting for the mail. And my husband is working on some stuff at the kitchen table. And he's like, oh, well, I'm writing notes. Let me go ahead and give you your mail. I've been writing notes on this. I'm like, what? And so he gives it to me. It was my envelope from Simon Medical. He was taking notes on my envelope for my mammogram. And I'm like, dude. Waiting for this envelope to turn it over. I mean, I didn't tell him that I was waiting, you know.
Right.
Mail, but he just had all the mail, and so he was just writing a note on it. I'm like, so it could have ended up in his bag somewhere, and I still. But I got it, and it was everything was fine. Well, but I vowed to myself and all my friends and my sister-in-law, Miss Martha, hey Miss Martha, that I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't do it again.
And you know, thank you for sharing for that. Thank you for sharing that story, because actually, that's one of the reasons I actually started this too. Was because I was one of those too, that I come from a family that multiple people through multiple lines have heard you have cancer. And you would think I would be like, okay, lickety split, when I, get there, go take it. And everybody was like, oh, you need to go do this. I'm like, I will. I'm working on other things, like right. I got other things to do.
Putting it off.
I did. And I was 54 years old when I went for mine. And here with a family history. And so I went and I'm thinking, okay. And I went for a physical and I'm like, okay, sign me up for everything. Let's just get it all done and get the huge paper. And I go down to my car and I'm like, cell phone. I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving until we schedule every single one of them, and I'm like, whatever one comes first is whatever one I go to. And they just so happened to have an opening at the last minute for that next day for a mammogram. I'm like, okay, cool. I've never had one before. I'll go. Let's do this. I go and I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Check. That one's done. Next. And then I had joined the women's group in the area, the business group. And I'm like, I'm going to do that thing. And I'm like joining and doing, getting in this club and that club. Because I finally could. I was semi-retired finally in my life. I'd always worked a lot. And decided that I was going to spend some time with the family. And I get the call, like, can you come back in? I'm like, I've been there. I got that one checked off. Like, don't you know? And they're like, no, we need you back. And we need you back now. And so I go back in, and that's when the whole duck thing starts, and it took 2 months. 2 months for me to finally get a yes and then a treatment plan in place. Mm-hmm. And what I vowed, and interesting, I need to talk to you, Erin. I'm glad you're here. What I vowed was that I would talk about early detection. Mm-hmm. And going when you need to go. When you can go. Because when I finally realized I have a duck, and I thought, okay, I'll wear my big girl pants and I'll deal with whatever it is. And so we joke around my house. We are a bunch of jokers, if you guys haven't figured it out. And I can be one of the biggest ones. And so they're like, okay, so what are you going to do if and I said, well, hey, there's a lake. I have a lake at the end of the street. So you know what? A Viking send-off. That sounds kind of cool. And so then I'm like, oh yeah. And then, okay, so then it started becoming the joke around here. Okay, so then we'll put it, and then at the time, one of my grandsons, little guy, he loved Mickey Mouse Club. And, you know, hot dog, hot diggity dog, problem solved. And I thought, oh yeah. So then you guys can have a weenie roast and have the flame for the Viking send-off, and then my grandson can say goodbye to me with hot dog, hot diggity dog, problem solved. And I thought, okay. And, you know, but humor is important. However, the more important, and I'm glad you shared your story, and I want people to understand, early detection saves lives. Early detection. We need people to be out there testing, and we need to get this out there globally, because when we talk about the World Health Organization numbers, and they say how we can change by 30%, 80% increase in 10 years in the less affluent countries, 40% increase. And yet we can change that by education, early detection, and such. And Aaron Morrison.
And
go ahead.
I just want to say too that it's early detection, but it's also accountability.
Yes.
And so a part of Chemo Buddies, a part of being anybody's buddy or friend, is, you know, I confessed my sins, you know, on Facebook. I put, you know, that I had not gone, and I set my appointment, and this is the date for my appointment. Have you set yours? You know, Facebook family. And so there were a number of women like, oh, congratulations. I can't believe that you waited so long. I'm like, well, that's why I'm letting you know this. And then there's other people like, oh, I haven't set mine yet. I need to set mine, you know? And so boom, right there, by me doing that, other people said they needed to set theirs. And so then I did another post. Everyone post on your timeline, since you're saying that you now need to go, post your date, and then put the same question, have you gone? So that it can just go on and on and on from friend to friend to friend of people saying that they're going, and then holding other people accountable or asking other people. And so I looked on, you know, several of my friends' Facebook, and they had started doing that, and with the secondary question. So I just kind of, again, thank God for having me do that. And even if it just saves, like you said, just one life, one.
Right. One. Yeah. And I love that. In fact, if anybody is listening to this right now, and I'm sure that there's many, I'm sure that there are, that it's like, I'm hearing and I'm feeling guilty because of the fact that I haven't done it. And it's not too late, even even if you have insurance, think about, usually it's calendar year. Yeah. Make that appointment, get in, and let's do this together, and be accountable for it. I love that. Now you're joining me in the next hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to jump into the next hour. We're going to close this down. And Aaron Morrison, if you are around tomorrow, and Martine Lopez too, if you're still here, I'm calling you guys out because I want you to come in and play with us. I've got some ideas. Okay, see you guys in a moment.